From the moment you step inside, you'll see what makes this home special. Timber details, cozy spaces, and a style that's all its own. Let's take a look inside. Hey everybody, John Went with Golden Eagle Log and Timber Homes. We're so excited to show you the 1,700 square foot timber home today. This house features 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. But let's start right here in the center of the home with this feature wall. So this home features our prow wall. Now we call it a prow wall because it mimics the prow of a ship. Gives you 180-degree views. And one other cool thing is this trim. I mean, look how massive this 4x12 hand-hewn trim is. Special to Golden Eagle. You don't see that too many homes or too many other places. Another great feature I like about this prow wall is all the glass in it. Look how we designed this one. So we've got 2 6-foot patio doors with 2 large fixed panes of glass that go all the way down to the floor. Just gives that unobstructed view right outside. Carrying through the center of the home, we feature these impressive 8x8 arched timber accent trusses. I mean, those are just beautiful. And they highlight the windows above the kitchen, allowing all that natural light to come in, along with the feature wall's natural light. I mean, this house is lit up all day long. Just look how impressive those trusses look against that rustic ceiling too. I love the color choices the client selected in this home. The darker charcoal stain really pulls out the darker knots in the ceiling. I just love this fireplace over here too. You know, there's so many options when it comes to fireplaces. You could choose wood, you could choose gas. There's even conversion ones now where they can go from gas to wood. This particular client chose a gas unit. They did a terracotta cultured stone with this massive chase. I just love that. It was important to the customer, obviously with the feature wall, to take advantage of views, so the fireplace is off to the side, so that's unobstructed views outside. I like how the lighting too highlights off that stone, just really gives it a nice look. And how can we forget about this impressive hand-hewn timber mantle? Just ties in with the trim, the trusses, just that timber ambiance feel in this home. Another great feature about this floor plan layout is the open staircase. This home features our timber stairs with an impressive 8-foot wide stair section. And with it right by the front door, it just adds so much rustic charm to the home right when you walk in. Now, just imagine if instead of the railing was here, we walled this whole staircase off. It would close in the space. It would make it feel so much tighter. But by eliminating that wall, having this open railing with these black aluminum spindles that just allow you to visually see through that space, allows all that light to go through, it just adds the feeling that there's that much more square footage to this space. Here's a great tip when considering your front door. This client wanted to still maintain a lot of natural light coming through, but wanted some privacy. So we suggested we go with a rain glass texture on the window and the side light. Now this door is a fiberglass wood grain texture, 3-panel shaker style. And as we continue this tour, you'll notice that that profile carries throughout the home on all the interior doors as well. One thing that's great about this floor plan too is just the open concept between the kitchen, living room, and dining space. Now this is a vacation home for this customer, so it was crucial to them to be able to have a large island for people to be able to sit around while still not feeling separated from everybody else when everyone's hanging out. So these are rustic alder cabinets, a little bit lighter color than what you're going to see on the island, which is also a rustic alder. Over here we've got a 33-inch Blanco farmhouse sink. Really ties into that rustic feel and that rustic charm of this home. Now here's something you may not have seen before. This is a great accessory for blind cabinets. You simply pull out the drawer, slide it over, and now you can access things back in the corner. Now in the upper cabinets, you'll notice we did staggered heights. We've got a taller cabinet in the corner, a taller cabinet above the refrigerator, and a taller cabinet at the end. That's really aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Another thing we did in the corner here is we brought the cabinet out a little bit. Again, just giving some different dimensions to the room and the space. Another great feature is these deep drawer bases. I really like that for storing pots and pans, things like that. Makes them really easy to access. That's a ceramic tile to mimic a brick, but it really plays with that lighter color off the lighter granite countertops. I think that's great. And the stainless steel range hood, very nice. Goes along with all the other stainless appliances. And speaking of appliances, here's another benefit about working with Golden Eagle Log and Timber Homes. We're always thinking about the little details. Over here, we framed in the refrigerator with extra deep end panels that allowed us to bring the cabinets out to the front of the fridge as opposed to tucked back normal wall height. Makes them more accessible, easier to access. Now let's talk about this island. We've got another prep sink over here. Very handy for if someone's over at the main sink getting stuff ready. You got the prep sink over here. It features the no-touch faucet. Great for while you're cooking or prepping food. Simply tap that on and off. Another feature is on the sink base. Now typically if the drawer was at the top, your plumbing would be in the way. Therefore it would have to be like a false drawer, unusable space. This way you still have the storage space. Now I really like this pop-up outlet. Imagine you've got all this countertop space. The last thing you want to do is have cords hanging everywhere. Simply push down and out comes your outlet. We've got our traditional outlet on one side, our USB ports on the other, and our wireless charging station on top. And over here we have the microwave conveniently built into the island. What I like about that is it keeps it out of view from the cabinetry on the perimeter of the cabinets, and it's also a little more functional. You can easily get items in and out of that as opposed to reaching up too high. Now as we come around to this side of the island, it was important when we were designing this kitchen to take into consideration that the island sits open to both the dining room and the great room. So we didn't want to see just a flat back panel on the cabinetry. So what we did here, if you remember, we have the microwave drawer over here. We put a false end panel on the end of the cabinet there. Really carries through that look to make it look like the cabinets just wrap right around. Now on the other side of this one, we had the sink base. Therefore, we have the extra storage that we could actually put doors on and get storage. Another great thing about this island is the flush toe kick. When you do a flush toe kick, it really makes the cabinet feel almost more like a built-in piece of furniture as opposed to cabinetry. Now, I mentioned these windows earlier, but let's just take a second to appreciate just how much natural light is pouring into this kitchen. Speaking of lighting, you may have seen toe kick lighting before, but what you might not have seen is lighting underneath the countertop. That's just great. We carried the lighting through with under and above cabinet lighting as well. Now carrying through the center section of this home, we flow right into the dining space. Here we've got a big enough table to sit 6 people. As we wrap around, carries us right out to the patio. So whether you're grilling outside on the patio or cooking inside, it's centrally located. Now did you notice these? These are actually built-in speakers. The client loves to entertain, so we've got built-in speakers over here and speakers integrated in the living room above the TV. And I really like how they tie in with that ceiling finish. Now just behind me is the master suite. Let's head on in there. First thing I notice when I walk in this space is the tall vaulted ceilings and those timber accents on there. Those are 4x8 hand-hewn beams running along that rustic reclaimed ceiling finish, the same as out in the great room. Another really great feature in here is all the natural light we get with this large 6-foot patio door and the 2 casement windows on either side of the bedroom. You're really getting daylight all day long. Another really nice feature about working with Golden Eagle is our 2x6 hand-hewn trim. This is standard in all of our exposed beam packages. It really adds a rustic yet elegant look. We've got 2x6 casing going around all the windows and doors, along with a 2x6 baseboard. Now just imagine if we did a standard base or case trim in a home like this, the scale just would not match. Now over here's the master bathroom, but before we head in there, let's take a second to appreciate this barn door. This is a rustic alder door, just like all the other doors in the house. It's a chocolate stain, which I think plays very nicely with the charcoal trim stain the client selected. We've got the soft closed barn door hardware, which is also playing off the headboard. I think that's a really nice touch. Now in the master bathroom, we have to start with this shower. So the clients came to us and saw our shower display in our showroom and fell in love with it. So we integrated it into their design. And just look at how heavy and massive these shelves are. That's a 4x10 hand-hewn shelf. That's impressive. Really matches everything else going on in this home. Now moving into the shower, I really like how we designated different spaces with the different tile selections, allowing you to see where the shower is versus the floor. But then they continued that floor tile onto the walls. Another great feature about that shower is that impressive window. That's got to be 5 feet long, just allowing all that natural light to flow in there while still having the obscured glass to give you privacy. You'll also find a massive rain head, the shower head, and a handheld wand. Now, another great thing to consider when you're designing your forever home is aging in place. In this shower, we actually dropped the floor system, so it's a 0-entry shower. Now in the master bathroom, we switched from the older cabinets to a rustic hickory, and we brought in a new color. That way it allows the master to just feel like it's a standalone room. We also still feature the toe kick lighting, so when you get up in the middle of the night and you have to go use the bathroom, you'll have to turn all the lights on. Now up here we have a Dolomite countertop. The client selected this because it's got a beautiful matte finish. We're topping that off with the Delta wall-mounted faucets. The vessel sinks turned out amazing. Now on this side of the home, we've got 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, and the main floor laundry. Let's go take a look. As we enter this space, we're continuing the same 3/4-inch hickory hardwood flooring as we've seen in the rest of the home. Directly off the hallway, we'll find this beautiful half bath. Now this will typically be the bathroom that guests will use. It's conveniently located close enough to the great room, yet still down the hallway far enough to give you privacy. I really like their vanity selection in this half bath as well. By going with an open shelf vanity in a smaller space, it allows the flooring to flow underneath it and your eye to be drawn there, assuming it's a bigger space. Just past the half bath, we've got the mudroom coming in off the garage. In this space, we're featuring rustic hickory cabinetry. I love the bench and the drop zone. Just imagine, you're coming in, you've got your shoes on, you've got your arms full of groceries, you can set stuff down, you can take your shoes off, tuck them underneath the bench, keeping the floor space wide open, grab the bags and carry on into the kitchen. We're also featuring elevated custom height base cabinets in here. This allows for us to carry the countertop across the top of the washer and dryer, giving us more space for folding clothes and storage. Another detail I like in here is the use of a pocket door. This allows us to close off the room when it's not being used, but also keeps the door tucked away so it's not swinging into the cabinet space inside. Around the corner, we'll find one of the guest bedrooms. Now you'll notice the bedroom isn't overly large, yet it feels big. That's because of the vaulted ceilings. We carry that same rustic ceiling finish as seen in the rest of the home, along with the 4x8 hand-hewn timber beams, 4x8 band board, the massive 2x6 casing, and the 2x6 baseboard. That's a great detail. A continuing theme of this home is the use of natural light. You'll notice this room has 3 large windows. This home features Pella 250 series vinyl windows in the fossil color. These are casement style windows, so you get the unobstructed view straight out. As you walk into this room, you're also going to notice the use of wall sconces on this wall. It really gives it almost like a feature wall feeling as you're walking into the space. I think you're going to like what we did with the layout of this bathroom. This is a Jack and Jill bathroom, allowing access for both bedrooms into the bathroom. We're featuring rustic hickory cabinets in the shaker panel door style. We've got a nice Delta 8-inch spread faucet, making it easy for cleanup. We've got this beautiful glass door on this tub. It allows that natural light to come in from the window still, but still gives it that elegance. That's a really nice feature. Another thing I like is what they did with the tile work on the floor, with the herringbone pattern, and then it transitions up into the tile around the tub shower space. And here we are in bedroom number 3. Again, we carried that same vaulted ceiling, giving it a bigger, more luxurious feeling here. The unique thing about this bedroom is we have direct access to the deck. Let's go outside and take a look. Here we are on this beautiful lakeside deck. This deck is featuring our maintenance-free evergreen decking. Nice feature about that decking is it doesn't heat up like your traditional composite decking might. That means when you're out here barefoot or you have pets, they're really going to appreciate that. It's also wood grain texture, which means it's not going to be as slippery. If you're coming in off the lake with wet feet, you got that traction. The deck is also featuring our black maintenance-free railing. This has got the Victorian top rail. We could also get this with a square top rail. I really like that railing because it allows for an unobstructed view. Now this Golden Eagle home was recently completed, but we're starting to see some outdoor living spaces come together. Right off the deck, we've got this wonderful fire pit area. Now, if you're thinking about building a Golden Eagle log or timber home, it's important for us to know your lot layout. As you can see with this home, we're featuring a lot of retaining walls. We've got a slope to the side of the house featuring the walkout wall on the side as opposed to the back. So that's why it's really important for us to get that information from you during the design process so we can ensure that the house is going to fit perfectly on your lot. As we continue around to the front of the home, you'll notice we carry that cultured stone around from the walkout wall to the front. Ties in beautifully with the stone pillars and the stone cap on the front. Now you might realize the house behind me isn't your traditional log or timber home, and that's okay. We've been in business since 1966 and have designed over 6,000 homes. No two homes are ever alike. This particular customer wanted that timber style on the inside, but wanted to go with something a little bit more maintenance friendly on the exterior. So we designed it using a 8-inch lap siding. We've got the nice 9-inch polymer shakes up in the gables. And take a look at those windows again up in that gable. It's just beautiful. In fact, speaking of the 6,000 homes we've sold, the neighbor's house is a Golden Eagle log and timber home too. That's our Double Eagle Deluxe model built a few years back. Now let's take a look at the garage. Before we mention that rain glass in the front door, well, here we matched it on the overhead doors. Another nice thing about this garage is the 16-foot wide overhead door, along with your standard single-car garage next to it. Allows enough space for getting in all those lake toys, maybe a boat, some side-by-sides, your truck, no worries. We've also got a beautiful timber truss up in the gable, wrapped in our maintenance-free siding. Now, speaking of curb appeal, one thing I always like to point out to customers, it's important to get multiple colors and textures going on. This home, we've got 3 different colors and textures. We've got the stonework at the bottom and on the pillars. We've got the 8-inch lap siding in the coffee color. We've got the polymer shakes up in the gable in the clay color. I think that just all comes together and really makes this front of this home feel so inviting and welcoming. Now, we'd love to hear your favorite features of this home. And if you're interested in seeing more home tours, click the playlist.